Hey everyone, it's Aaron Richardson here, your general manager and partner here at Century 21. Today I'm going to be doing a seminar. It's one of my favorite ones. It's listing in a seller's market. The reason why it's one of my favorite ones is because when it comes to multiple offers, I think so many agents get hung up on certain things that do not achieve the seller's best interest in terms of getting the highest and best possible price. There are obviously different techniques to do that. So what I'm going to do is going to go over the whole process from start to finish on how to list a property in that seller's multiple offer marketplace. Let's start off just looking at what we're going to go through. I'm going to go through the agenda, going through market conditions and why we're in a seller's market, what drives a seller's market, highest and best price, market value. Understanding that market value is important because whether or not you're representing a buyer or a seller, the market value is always determined by certain factors that you need to be aware of in order to achieve the highest price for your seller. Next, preparing that listing to go onto the market. Specifically, I'm going to be detailed on, obviously, that offer process. It's what's going to drive that price up for your seller and make sure the seller's super happy. And then looking at showings and how to make sure those showings go smoothly. You have a lot of times that it's just a matter of getting the most important people through that property, which is the ones that will pay the highest price for the property. And of course, not making sure it's not chaos. That offer day is super important as well. How to structure it, how to make sure that all of the agents feel comfortable and their clients feel comfortable with how you set up the offer process so everyone's being treated fair. You don't want to have that person who will pay the highest price walk away because you're unorganized. So let's get right into market conditions first. So what drives that seller's market? Obviously, it's when inventory levels have a higher demand than what the inventory levels can produce. There's always been a balance between inventory levels and active buyers. And that is considered like an equilibrium, right? So when you have so much inventory in the market and there's not enough buyers, prices go down because buyers have to be more competitive. You're not getting multiple offers typically because buyers have a full range of properties to choose from. And of course, they don't have to sort of in the driver's seat. Property values will increase as buyers have to compete for properties for sale. So when those inventory levels become so low based on the amount of buyers that are out there, buyers having to compete with each other and jumping on listings as soon as they come onto the market. Now, how do you position your property that you're presenting on behalf of your seller into a marketplace where there's so many buyers out there? You need to get them through a short period of time in order to find out who's going to pay the most for the house. So some of those driving factors, obviously low inventory, having the less inventory and more buyers comes in that balance, comes with things like interest rates. When interest rates spike and go really high, buyers tend to get nervous as well as they can't afford or they're going to wait for interest rates to come down. That's the sort of marketplace that we've been in recently. And that typically means that there's less buyers out there and they're not going to compete for those listings. And regardless of the amount of inventory that's on the market, if the amount of buyers has decreased and the inventory is there and isn't selling, obviously those driving factors will put yourself into a buyer's market rather than the seller's market. Low bidding starts, not enough homes are being built. Obviously, this is one of the problems in Canada, probably in many parts of the world as well, where there just isn't enough homes in order to satisfy either the amount of people in the community. So immigration, for example, in Canada, we are bringing in 1 million new immigrants every single year. We do not have the supply of new projects, new build starts. And there hasn't been historically in the past that tie in between new home starts with immigration. So we've lost that balance. And that's what's happening. It's going to take some time, obviously, to correct that. So consider the buyer or the seller's market to be a very popular thing over the next 10 years, while inventory levels and hopefully inventory levels will increase. Obviously, more immigration, more buyers, foreign investment. Canada's a great place to live. We're protected. Our government systems with banking are some of the best in the world. So our money is safe. These programs, as much as we can get into politics and government programs and why our government's not great and great, doesn't matter. The reality is today we do have one of the best banking systems in the world because it is protected, I think that's pretty evident. So foreign investment is popular in Canada for that reason. It's a safe haven. So let's talk about market value. It's one of my favorite topics. So right off the internet, right, go and type in what is market value. What's the definition? And that is the estimated amount for which a property should exchange on the date of valuation between a willing buyer and a willing seller in an arm's length transaction after proper marketing, wherein the parties have each acted knowledgeably, prudently, and without compulsion. And that's the long version, okay? Easier put, when a buyer is willing to pay, a seller is willing to accept, and this must be in a fair and open market. And that's what we have here in Canada. We have a fair and open market with our MLS system. We as realtors have a great way to market our properties and to produce a very smooth transaction on behalf of both the seller and the buyer, as long as we do it properly. So first of all, how do you win the listing? How do you get the listing? And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that first, because it's important. Obviously, seller realizes throughout your listing presentation that you're focused on getting the highest and best price for the property. So everyone does staging, everyone internet markets these days, high quality photos and photography, video tours, all these great things that we do to promote the property. Sellers are less impressed these days by those factors. What they're impressed with is your knowledge and your ability to get the highest and best price for them. So when you're on that listing presentation, that's what you have to focus on. So make sure you have a wonderful presentation, whether it's digital. I like both digital and physical. So having something to give them is, I think, important as well. Some people are visual, some people are analytical. Some people like to have the physical brochure or book that you leave with them. Others are impressed with your digital capabilities. So feel free to do either or both, and decide at the listing presentation, obviously, which one to use. Come prepared. Make sure you have a market analysis. You need to know everything about the market. In order to get the best and highest price, they need to be very confident in your ability in order to know the market and what sort of factors are going to affect that price. Some of the things that you're going to consider, so focus on those market conditions. Are you going to consider a price that is below market value and stimulate multiple offers? If you're going to do this, and this is a very popular way in order to present the property onto the market, there are differences of opinions on this. Any one of those opinions can work. We know that. We know that if you price it a little lower in a market where buyers, there's lots of them, you're going to get more people through the showings. You're going to create the buzz. You're going to create multiple offers and sometimes drive that price up for the seller. That's what your job is. Your job is to get the highest and best price for the seller. Now, in saying that, I'm not a big fan of super low. And I don't want to go off on this tangent quite yet. I'm going to get to number two, but I will let you know why I'm not a big fan of super low. Obviously, you can't overprice, right? So number two, what are you going to do to stage and present the property? The reality is the better the property shows, the higher price you're going to get. So I'm a big fan of staging. I think it needs to show fantastic. You need to be ready for a lot of people coming through that property if you're pricing it at market value or below market value. Higher the market value, you're going to get less showings. However, if you become to that point where you're negotiable, that's not always a bad thing either. So there is a marketing strategy for that. Number three, you need to have the house available to show interested buyers for 30-minute showings. You can't overlap showings. You can't have a zoo happening. And the problem is, of course, if you've held off offers, let's say for 5 days, you only have a certain amount of time slots for buyers to go through. And when those time slots have been taken, especially 1-hour showings, you will not be able to get as many people through. And when that happens, the highest and best price may just not be able to see the property. You don't want that. So make sure you're pricing effectively, but not too low where you're bringing in people that have no business going through that house. I know it creates the buzz. I know it creates additional offers, but what it does is it clouds up the process where a buyer may walk away that's willing to pay the highest price, but one, they can't get through the showing. And second, they just don't want to be part of that huge frenzy. They don't mind an organized offer process, but they don't want chaos. That's why it's super important that you're looking after the organization and the proper marketing of this property. So 30-minute showings, yeah, that's reasonable if you are getting a ton of action. So those 1 hour showings may have to go down to 30-minute. What is your strategy on holding offers on a future date? Now, this strategy obviously is debatable. I'll tell you what I think the perfect scenario is, right? Let's say you're listing on a Monday or a Tuesday. I like beginning of the week. It allows you to do agent open houses. It allows you to get people through and agents throughout the week, as well as the weekend and open houses, etc. Then you hold off for, let's say, 7 days. 7 days is about as much as I'd ever hold off offers. The concern with holding offers and going through the whole process is if somebody wants to put an offer on the Wednesday, you've held to the Sunday, you've told them, Sunday offers, they may not want to wait. And I know we're going to get into what a bully offer is as well as preemptive. We'll explain that. And yes, they could present something earlier, but based on your marketing of the property and you're holding steadfast to a 7-day hold off period, it's important that you have enough time to get everybody through 7 days, but not too much time where somebody walks away or another property gets listed that they decide to go with before yours. So 5 to 7 days is probably the best future date period, that window that you want to stick to. Explain what a bully offer is and what a preemptive offer is. Okay. And I'm going to do that for you as well. And right now I'm going to do the short version, and then we'll get into more of the details on that as we go through. The short detail is a bully offer is an offer that somebody is not taking your direction. They are going against your wishes and your seller's wishes to hold off offers. Okay. And everything they do is to force that offer through to your seller. If I'm working on behalf of my buyer, I'm really good at bully offers. I'm going to make sure that offer is presented. At least the seller sees it. And if it's really good, the seller may make a decision to look at your offer and skip the line. It's a really good way in order to represent your buyer's interest, skip the line, and hopefully get that property before the chaos on offer day. Now, on the listing end, it is in your seller's best interest to get the highest and best price, but only if it is the highest and best price. And the only way to determine that really is to get everybody through the property, hold off offers, take the best offer that comes. But if somebody overpays, and I'm going to say overpaid, like they really put together an offer that looks amazing, your seller needs to see that. So that's a bully offer. What a preemptive offer is, and it's very popular right now, is to put certain instructions in the listing that says, oh, we'll accept preemptive offers, but we're holding off till Sunday. Well, what's the point of holding off and accepting preemptive offers? It doesn't make sense. Preemptive offers are early offers. That's fine, but if you're entertaining preemptives, it's not really a bully offer. You're asking for them to bring an offer. So why are you holding off? It doesn't make sense from a marketing standpoint. And what it can do is can get a price early for your sellers, but not necessarily a bully offer price. Bully offer price is not going against saying, no, we're not doing it. And then what they do is they blow you out of the water on an amazing bully offer with a really high price. But if you say preemptive offers, that price is not going to be that bully offer price. So there is a difference. And I think your sellers need to know that. Make sure you explain it. Have your strategy ready. Your sellers will be super impressed with your knowledge. Have your online market strategy. It will drive traffic to house, get more offers. How is it? Like, how is your online market strategy? Obviously, driving more traffic online is the way that we do things. So making sure that you have a great, obviously listing presentation, but great virtual tour and video tour, get it out there. Make sure that you're marketing that property the best you can. Show how organized the listing will bring confident buyers. That is important, right? The fact that you have a strategy in place, the fact that, and I'm going to show you some of those strategies, the fact that you're organized is going to impress not only the seller, but all the buyer agents that are going to come to the property and say, wow, not only you got an amazing price for that house, but it's because of the way you held the multiple offers, the way that you were organized, communicated with everybody, etc. Do your typical awesome listing presentation, but remember to emphasize how you're going to drive as much traffic to the property, creating offers and getting them more money in the listing presentation. Okay. Preparing the listing before it goes onto the market, be organized, get that listing prepared. Here's your tips. Try and hold off offers for a reasonable amount of time. We went through this. Should be a checklist for you, right? 5 to 7 days is great. Sign a listing agreement as an exclusive so you don't lose it. Super important. I know there's a 3-day rule now that it can't be advertised unless it goes on to the MLS. It must go on within 3 days. Don't worry about that because you're not advertising it, right? Sign the listing agreement as an exclusive so you don't lose it. You're going to be preparing the property for sale. People are going to start to know. It could be the contractor you're getting to do the painting, the roof. Had a neighbor of mine purchase a property from somebody who was getting their house ready. They went direct to the seller. They knew it was going on the market and they did a private deal. They did not get the highest and best price. I know that because it's impossible to know that that one person was going to be the highest and best price. But the buyers got a great deal. And unfortunately, there was, the real estate agent involved that brought the roofer in, and it was actually the roofer, because they knew it was going on sale, that presented a private offer. You cannot be put through that process because your seller, it's not their best interest, right? They, in this case, was probably about 40 to 50,000 below market value. So make sure that your seller, you have an exclusive agreement with them right up until the date that you think you're going to list it, and then you come back and sign a proper MLS listing. Prepare for a listing can take time. It could be a week, 2 weeks, a month. So don't overprice it. It's super important in the seller's market. If you overprice a property to the point where it's over market value, way over market value, you may not get any offers. And in a market where you have multiple offers, if you're the one house that's not selling, trust me, everyone will know it and they will think something's wrong with the house. So don't overprice it. It's okay to be a little bit negotiable if you decide to go in that direction. But if you price up right at market value, which is still a great strategy, then you still get multiple offers and have a reasonable amount of showings and get the highest and best price. Just don't overprice it. Make sure the house is available for showings. Consider even moving out for the week. It's going to be chaos. In a seller's market, it's chaos. It's showings every day, 5, 6, 10 showings sometimes or more. And if it is chaos, obviously that's going to be an issue with the sellers because they're not going to be able to live in their house. So even think about ways that maybe they go away for the week. That's a vacation week for them. Probably a good idea. Communicate with all showing agents as much as possible. Every day, you're calling every single agent that shows the property. Don't worry if they don't call you back. You've made the attempt. You definitely want to make sure. If the agent doesn't call you back, they're not interested, right? So don't get frustrated if an agent doesn't call you back or you ask ask the agent, what did you think of the home? What did you think of the price? They're not going to tell you. And if they do, they're not a great agent. I'll tell you the reason why. You are representing your buyer. Why are you helping the seller provide feedback to get them a higher price or a lower price, or try to pre-negotiate? That's not part of what you should be doing on behalf of your buyer. Giving feedback as the listing agent, you think the buyer agent is going to tell you the proper price? I would never believe a buyer's agent on their opinion on the price, because they're working on behalf of the buyer. Oh, this price, I don't think you're going to get that, or I don't, it creates a false sense of what the price is actually. So I know we're in the same industry, everyone, and we're supposed to work together with everyone as real estate agents, but we still have a fiduciary duty to our clients. And I'm not going to give another agent more duty of care than I will my own client. So make sure that when you're calling around to get opinions on what's happening with their showing, you're doing it to see if there's interest, and you're writing their name down, and you're going to put, make sure to keep in touch with this one and help them through the process. And you should be making sure that they feel comfortable with your process and how you're holding off offers. So the communication is not to get necessarily feedback, right? And I understand feedback's important for your seller, which is fine. There are agents that are going to give it. But the purpose of communicating is to let them know how the process is going. Call me anytime. hoping to get the best price for my seller. Deposits are important, obviously. Consider even herewith as something that you're asking for. I like to give a direction to most buyer agents, or all the buyer agents, and I'm going to show you how to do that and let them know what I'm expecting and what is best for my client. Herewith deposits in hand are going to be better looked at, opposed to, oh yeah, I'll bring it tomorrow. So let them know that, right? It is important to do that. Why? Because it's security for the highest and best price. If somebody comes with the highest and best price, but they weren't prepared with the deposit, that's not the buyer's fault. It's the buying agent's fault. They didn't prepare them. But your sellers shouldn't have to suffer for that just because they didn't bring a herewith check. We want to make sure everyone has that opportunity. So help the buyer agent along if you have to. That's why we're here. Best offer is not always best price. Great situation. You have let them know, bring herewith, copy of the check. Really important that is enough of the deposit. Higher deposit's better. Quicker closing if that's what your seller's looking for, stuff like that. This is what you're communicating when you're calling the agent. If that same agent comes without a herewith check, with a low deposit, and there's somebody else with a less price, maybe by $5,000, but they came herewith and prepared, and their sellers or their buyers seem more stable, you're going to go with the more stable buyers. You're not going to go with the 5,000 more. Why? Because you created a multiple offer scenario with, lots and lots of showings, lots of offers, and you can't do that again very effectively if somebody backs out of the deal or can't afford for the house doesn't close. So the security of knowing that that's a great qualified buyer with funds in the bank and a high deposit is super important. Try not to get bullied. I know that bullying an offer is definitely a great strategy when representing the buyer, but representing the seller, I don't want anyone to bully me, which means come with an offer that might be great, but we want to hold off till Sunday. And if obviously that goes to the seller and the seller wants to accept it, that's up to the seller. But definitely you don't want to be in a situation where you've made the wrong choice or mistake with, let's say, 2 days into the process, somebody bullies the offer and then you go, okay, we got an offer, let everybody know, we'll do it 2 days early, bring your offers, you get 3 instead of 30 offers, and you got bullied, right? You brought the offer date down and you forgot to look at the offer. You said, well, first of all, no such thing as registered offers. Offers are ones that have been conveyed, right? So given to you. Have them give you the bully offer, look at it, tell your seller and say, this is your choice. But if we wait, we could get more offers. We could get higher price. But if this one blows you away, then I will, skip the line 2 days, let everybody know, present tonight. I'll do that. But don't get bullied into doing something that the seller doesn't necessarily sit in not in the best interest, or that they haven't decided that they want to accept. But I would always show any offer. So the one question I do get, well, what if I've written direction from the seller not to take offers? Great, you do want that. That needs to be there. However, when somebody still presents it regardless, hands it over to you, you're not going to turn it away and not tell your seller. That wouldn't be in their best interest. What if that was just an amazing price and they just lost out on that because you made a decision on their behalf just because it was in writing? That's not the purpose of having it in writing. The purpose of having it in writing is to have the direction to hold off so you do get that bully offer and it blows you away. Okay, so difference between asking for a preemptive and having a bully. And I'm going to tell you now, probably now in the next screen, how to make sure this happens. Obviously, I told you I'd go into more detail about bully offers and preemptive offers, and this is where we're going to go through this. Bully offer, an offer that is forced by the cooperating agent upon seller prior to the set date out in the listing brokerage direction. So that is going against your wishes, right? What is now popular is preemptives, right? And I'll tell you, I'll give you some examples here. Brokerage remarks. See disclosure attachment for more info. Buyer to verify all measurements and taxes offers to be graciously reviewed on Tuesday, October 5th at 8 p.m. Please register by 6, send by 7. Great. It's all organized and everything. Attached Schedule B. Please allow a 2 to 3 hour notice for viewings weekdays after 2 p.m. Okay. This is the right way to do it. You said nothing about preemptives. Now I'm going to tell you what the wrong way to do it is. Okay. Don't do this, right? Put in there, sellers reserve the right to review preemptive offers. That is a huge mistake. You're opening them up to say, hey, bring an offer anyway, and you're going to make it difficult for the sellers to make a decision. Okay. And the decision could be, oh, geez, you know, it's a preemptive. It's okay. The offer's decent. Maybe we should look at it. That's not highest and best price. It's not a bully offer. Don't do it. Number 2, sellers reserve the right to accept preemptive offers without notice. Wow. That is against RICO's rules. You have to give notice. That is the statute. We have certain obligations to everyone that showed that property. If you told them what you're saying here without notice, okay, what if somebody had interest and they had an offer signed and they registered it and you say, oh, no, I accept one earlier. There's a lot that can happen if you say without notice. You're essentially putting in writing that you're not going to communicate with people and you could just accept any offer anytime. That's not fair. And it's not highest and best price, and it's not in the entry. It's what is causing RICO to clamp down on things and offer out these fines. So make sure you don't do without notice. Number 3, sellers reserve the right to accept compelling preemptive offers. Now here we go with, with my, comment about, well, it's not a bully offer. Bully offers are going to be amazing. Well, what if I put it in writing that I want an amazing offer? Guys, that's not marketing. That's not holding off offers, getting best price and making sure you show everybody and get the highest person that pays the best price. Just telling somebody, well, you know what, we'll take one if it's really, really good. Okay. It doesn't show you do a very good job marketing prop. Don't do that. Okay. Number 4, no preemptive offers. If written, you must stick to these instructions. Absolutely. You're saying no preemptives. You're guaranteeing to everyone that shows the property, don't worry, I'm doing it the right way. I'm not holding off, I'm not taking any offers early. I have the seller's written direction. I love those ones. Those ones are great. Completely wrong. One, what you're doing again is against RICO, right? No preemptive offers. What would happen if they had me representing the buyer and said, that's okay. I understand that you're not accepting preemptive offers. This isn't a preemptive offer. It's a bully offer. And they say, well, it's the same thing. No, it's not really. I mean, let me ask you a question. Do you think the seller would be happy with you if you didn't show my offer? That's way over asking. Are they going to be happy that you didn't let them know? Is RICO going to be happy with the fact that you didn't convey the fact that I had an offer in hand? It's an amazing offer and you didn't give the seller the opportunity. Well, I've written direction. Is it in the seller's best interest for you to have them have written direction, but to not tell them that I had a bully offer? They're wrong if they say, no, it's the seller's direction. They're wrong. If it's the seller's best interest to see that property or that offer that I'm putting on that property, then RICO's going to side with me, right? And this is how I present on behalf of my buyer. I don't get into arguments. I don't get into anything other than, listen, I think it's in your seller's best interest. They see my offer. It's really good. By the way, I'm not asking permission. I already sent it to you. It's in your inbox, and or I'm dropping it off at your office, or when can I present, right? So these are things, these are strategies that you do when you're representing the buyer, and be prepared for that. If you're the selling agent, I get a lot of phone calls from selling agents say, this offer just came in. What do I do now? I said, you got to show it to your seller. Well, I've written direction. No, you still show it to the seller. I know you have written direction, and that gives you the ability to say that we're not looking at offers, but it does not give you the right to make a decision on behalf of your seller that could be in your seller's best interest. If that offer happens to be amazing, they find out later you turned it down on their behalf, even though they had written direction, you may say you have legal, but let's be honest, guys, like there's certain reasons why we do hold off. And one of them is to get this amazing price that goes over. Now that probably know the property still has to appraise out and all the rest of it, but listen, it's still in the seller's best interest. So how do we make sure all of this happens representing the seller's best interest? So MLS instructions, well, we'll go back one. This is the best way. Do not say anything about preemptive. The other thing, by the way, so if you do no preemptive offers and you submit one and the seller does accept it, okay, now all those other agents are going to take you to Rico. And at that point in time, Rico's going to say, you said no preemptives. And all of a sudden you did preemptives. It was against what your directions were. You know, that's, you lied essentially. And Rico can fine you for that. So be careful with this, right? So let's talk about the MLS instructions. These are things to do. Don't put anything about preemptive offers, like I said, other than the date that you're holding off offers. Why? Because the seller has the right to move the date. Don't handcuff them with that statement. Okay, if you handcuff yourself, that means that you have made a guarantee to somebody that you can't, your seller can always change their mind. If you put anything about preemptive offers, you're attracting offers that may not be the best. The seller will have to make the difficult decision what a reasonable offer is. Are we going to get higher, etc. So I've already went over that. Number 3, having as many people through the property as possible can ensure market value. And 100% that's true. Open market, fair. That's the definition of market value. If you show it to 4 people, one of the 4 puts an offer in and they get a reasonable price. Seller's happy, buyer's happy. I'm okay with that. But was that market value? If there was 10 other agents saying I would have paid more, 10 other buyers that didn't get put through that property, that's why we hold off offers. Not to push prices up in the industry and all this sort of stuff, but reality is to get the highest and best price for my seller. Okay, and it is the right reason. Number 4, if your seller decides to look at a true bully offer, it will be much higher than the preemptive. We went over that. A bully offer is typically really good, right? What would happen if a buyer agent presented an offer with a 1-hour irrevocable? This is the toughest situation to be in. Okay, when somebody says, here's an offer, you have 1 hour to make the decision. Can you accept that offer? Can the seller accept that offer? And the answer is absolutely. Right? Seller can accept an offer at any time for any reason. You're the one who's organizing the presentation of offers, controlling the process, and making sure the seller gets the opportunity to accept the highest and best offer. But when something comes in so good and has a 1-hour irrevocable, what does that mean for the other buyer agents that are out there that want to put an offer in? Okay. It's a tough situation. If you're set up and you're organized and you're communicating, you're going to know ahead of time. You've talked to all the buyer agents. You know where they're all at. You know the ones that are going to be putting the offer in. You're going to present the whole situation when they're presenting, who's presenting when. It's going to be set up really organized. That means this won't happen. It just won't, right? Because you're organized, you're communicating. But when things are all over the place, you way underprice it, you got so many people going through, you can't control the situation. You've got, you got bully offers coming out of everywhere, and you're going, oh my God, you're going to call us if we're going to help you through it. But if you do that right from the beginning, you won't run into those problems. And you'll probably get fined by Rico if you accept an offer, even though it's in your seller's best interest, early, and nobody else got notified or an opportunity to present because you held off offers, and then you invited preemptives, and then you got one with a bully offer 1 hour notice and you didn't tell anybody. That's when you're getting in trouble, right? And you didn't get the highest and best price for your seller because you can't guarantee that, right? You need to have an organized system. So if you are changing the date, okay, and this is important, you did get a bully offer, the seller is looking to accept it, you need to give everyone an opportunity. Yes, you are bringing the line back, right? So you're instead of 7 days and 40 offers, you've done it in 3 days with 5 offers, but you have to let everybody know. There's people that are not going to see the property. Notify everyone. Broker Bay is great because they will notify everybody that's seen the property. Make sure you change the date on the MLS listing, right? Make sure now you've changed the direction. It's not Sunday, it's tonight at 8, right? Change it on the listing so people can see it. Anybody who's booking new showings, they know it. Call everyone, make sure that you've communicated with everybody who's shown the property, and you can prove it. Things like Broker Bay will help. You still want to get multiple offers, even though you know that bully offer is so good. You still need to give everybody an opportunity. And then you go back if you do get another offer that comes in and you let the first offer know, hey, by the way, I thank you for the bully. I know we're presenting at 8. I had to let everybody know, and we have 3 other offers. So now you're in competition with 3 other offers, and everyone knows how many offers there are. Here is the instructions that we would like you to put onto your listing, that if somebody was to put an offer registration, register an offer, put an offer in, you can easily notify everyone as to what the instructions are for the offer process. You could even attach this, if you'd like, to your listing as a schedule, just to say, here is how I'm going to be hosting the offer process. Have a copy of it if you like. You send it over to anybody that's saying, hey, yeah, I'm going to be putting an offer in. Well, here's how the presentation is going to go. So having this in place, especially in Broker Bay, ensures that everyone gets obviously the instructions if they register the offer. So here is offer registration outline for, as an example, 102 Any Street, Crescent. Please register all signed offers at, and then that's our office number, by 8 o'clock on Friday, and the date. Leave your email, cell phone number, please. Right. So again, you're telling them to make sure that they contact you. I'm going to email and page you at 7:30 before the offer presentation with the total number of registered offers. So again, you're letting them know that you're organized. You're going to keep them up to date with the amount of offers. Number 3, please instruct your clients to bring their best offer. I cannot guarantee that there'll be any other additional chances to improve. And that's true. Never tell somebody how many times you're going to either give people an opportunity to improve or not. Okay. The seller is the one that makes the decision on that. You cannot guarantee that. Okay. If something comes in and they want to accept it, the sellers, then they should have the ability to accept it, but you can't guarantee. And what this will also do is let everybody know that they have to bring their best offer. So you're starting from the highest and best price rather than saying, hey, listen, this is going to be a long night. We're going to go back 3 times or twice or whatnot. Presentations will be by the listing agent. So that could be, I'm going to be presenting on behalf of everyone. So email me the offers by 7:30, 8 o'clock, make sure it's ahead of time. So 7:30 would be great. And that you will be the one that's presenting the offers. If you're going to host presentations, because there's only a few, or you're going to have people come in and present, that's okay. Just put that in the instructions. Number 5, please attach Form 801 to all offers. Just another, I think most people do that now. 801 is a mandatory form, but having it in there as the instructions, again, shows that the offer process is being done effectively. Number 6, should I have any of my own offers, I will disclose this fact, but I have not and will not be reducing my commission should this be the case. I will also disclose any reduction of commission by another realtor should this happen. Again, sort of letting them know that you are above board with everything that you do. And if there is an offer that there's a reduction in commission, that you would disclose that. Most of you now with Tressa is not putting yourself in, I would say, in almost every situation, and not in multiple representation situation. So this may change. You may say, I do not practice multiple representation. However, if somebody reduces their commission representing, I will disclose to all parties. Again, the rules of the offer process. Number 7, deposit check must be certified or bank draft given within 24 hours. Please send a copy of deposit if you want to be more competitive. Now, that just happens to be how the example shows. But if you say deposits are preferred herewith, and a copy of, or dropped off, or et cetera, right? So these are things you can give a bit of a heads up as to what the seller is going to see as more strength, right? It's in the seller's best interest that you do that. Any survey clauses, they'll be crossed out, and we will provide a copy of what we have, right? So however the survey is going, if you have it, you don't have it, make sure you let them know here. You don't want to be in a situation where you want to accept an offer, but it has a survey clause that says, I will provide an original copy of survey. You have to cross those out anyway. So let them know ahead of time, listen, don't bring one. My cell phone number is, and then let them know what your cell phone number is, what your name is, what your email address is. And then a little, note to say, please note nothing said verbally or put in text message or email is considered valid in the negotiation process. Please reduce all negotiations to writing on the offer. Love that one. You're telling them ahead of time. I don't care what you text me, what you tell me. It's what's on paper that's going to be taken as fact. So putting that in there is super important. If you have your rules set out from the beginning, if you're organized like this, you're going to have a smooth transaction. So this is super important. Your offer presentation, the offer day. Send out notifications to all the showing agents. You've already probably talked to them or called them previously, but make sure that everybody knows the number of registered offers, Broker base still automated is great, but still call and speak to everybody, right? Offer instructions. How is tonight happening? What's going on? What's the rules? Okay. Have something written. We have it for you. I'm going to show it to you. It's a great way to make sure that everyone's confident and with the way that you're presenting. Any changes to the offer presentation times? If there are any changes, obviously to let everybody know where are offers and where are they going to be presented. Is it by in person? Are you sending them in by email? And that will depend on a lot of factors like how many offers are coming in. When it gets out of hand, obviously, this is not going to be a virtual situation. You're not going to do Zoom meetings and all this kind of stuff. There are great ways to make sure that this is done very professionally. I love bringing the sellers to the office, book a room in the back. If everything's being sent in by email, I understand that. It's hard to do one by one by one 20 times if there's 20 offers. So there's 3 offers. Hey, tell them come by, drop it off. They can present if they want. You can do the full presentation. However, very popular now, send the offers to me. I'm going to present in order from which I receive the offers. Everyone's fair. And what I do is I put a big desk out and go offer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure they're separated with notes, sticky notes on every single one with the main price, closing date, deposit, conditions. Put the information on each one. That way, the seller knows that you're super organized. You're saying, okay, these 3 we're not going to deal with, or yes, we're going to send them all back. Like you can make decisions, but it's very visual, very organized, and that's at the office. So here are some of the, reviewing offers tips, right? Order received, already mentioned that. After all the offers are received, make notes on each offer. Just said that, sticky notes on each offer. Don't look at the price. Don't only look at the price, right? So you're obviously concerned with price. The seller's going to be like, yeah, I want the best price, but other factors are so important. So make sure you control that narrative and let them know there's risk associated with every offer that we're going to accept. We want the least risk with the highest price. Any conditions on the schedule, circumstances behind financing, buyers have all cash, need assistance qualify. These are all things that you're going to take into consideration. Does the closing date accommodate your seller's needs? Here is what I would put. Offer 1, agent, cell phone number, price, deposit, closing date, conditions. Just what I said. Sticky notes on every single one. Offer 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Communication with the agents through the offer process, right? Presenting at 8 o'clock at the office. You're, third presented. Keep all the agents informed as next steps of all offers. Some of them are going to ask you, well, what position am I in? Can you tell me position? Never tell position, ever, 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 ever. And in fact, if you're a buyer, never ask position. It's a false sense of security. It doesn't matter what position you're in. It really doesn't. It's good for oh yeah, we're in third position. Tell the buyers, hey, I found out we're in third position. It means nothing. Okay, because if you get the opportunity in order to increase the price, come back and say, bring your best, or you're in third position, or let's say you're in first position. Hey, buyers, we're in first position, looks like, but they're giving everybody another opportunity. That's really going to cloud their decision on what price is their highest and best price, right? So they may say, well, we're going to stay. If we're in first position, we got a great chances. I don't want to pay more for the property. So, okay, great. And they go back and they say, oh, by the way, sorry, we accepted another offer. I was in first place. That clouded your decision, right? Make sure you don't ask it, make sure they don't tell you, and make sure you don't tell anybody the positioning. I think it's the worst thing to do in a process of trying to get the highest and best price. When the decision is made on which offer is going to be accepted, always call and thank the other agents, right? Make sure that you stay within that respect in the industry. You may be in a similar situation on the buy side. You want that same respect back. Communication is a key factor to the overall success of this offer process with the sellers, the buyers, everyone in the process. Okay. Now, there's a few other things that probably are good questions to ask when you're going through that offer process, especially going back to the day of presentation or the time of presentation at 8 o'clock. So you have all the offers on the table 1 through 8. You've explained it to the sellers. Those decisions that you need to make to either bring down the offer process to the top 3, for example, or decisions you make with your sellers. Just keep something in mind. There's a few key things that I want to point out here. I didn't put in the presentation, but I definitely want to make sure. Number 1, okay, and this has happened, so don't hold on, write this down, right? Never ever sign back an offer to two different people. And I know that sounds crazy, but this has happened. It gets crazy. It gets all those sort of things as we're going to deal with these two offers. You know, let's see if they'll take X price. Just one is you're never signing anything back. You're always holding on to the offers and you're asking them to give you a new offer. And what you do is you call everybody and you can let everybody know that they get one extra chance. Bring your best offer. Or what you do is you narrow it down, right? These 5 have no business being here. They're crummy deposits. They got closing dates or conditions that you're not going to accept. So you can call them and say, you know, just so you know, you didn't make the cut. We're dealing with the top 3 offers. They have the conditions and everything my sellers are looking for. I'm sorry, we've declined your offer. By the way, they could still come back with another one, but your deal is just dealing with the 3. So what you're going back to those top 3, for example, and saying, hey, you're all close. Let's talk about increasing either the price, the conditions, you know, removing. You can give an idea, obviously, of what it is your sellers are happy with the offer. Thank you, great deposit, great, you know, conditions, etc. You know, I'm just letting you know, though, you have another opportunity with price, right? So you're giving them a direction that price is the issue. Other ones is like, you know, you came with a home inspection condition. That wasn't something my seller really liked, right? Obviously, price is a factor, right? So I'm sending everybody back, but I'm letting you know that home inspection, they're not going to accept it. But thank you for the price. Try and improve your offer. So these are the dialogue and discussions, but never tell them position, never tell them the amounts, and this is in open offers, which goes into something that I do want to discuss. The sellers may say, or you may decide at some point in time, you know, should we open up the offer process? That's a new rule. So this is a question that comes up from time to time now, is should we open up the offer? And we haven't in the past, and there is no real history in order to give you examples of how it can work out bad or poorly, and ways that you can say, hey, it worked out really great. So I can't go back and give you examples, but what I can say is be careful, one. But if you're down to 2 offers and they don't have conditions in those offers about not being disclosed, right? So that means there's no condition saying, you know, if you disclose my offer, then my offer is no longer valid. Let's say you're dealing with 2 of the top and they're the same price. If your seller directs you to, you could open up that offer process, let both offers know what the price is, and let them go nuts, right? So you're both at the same price. You're both at 1.4 million. We're opening up the process and we're going to let you know if one goes up and one goes down until one of you says that's too much. You could do that. And I'll be honest, I know there's a lot of people saying, you know, don't open off the offer process. I can see a scenario where that could get a higher and best price for your seller. I can see that. I can also see people walking away. So make sure, first of all, offers in hand, you can still accept one. They're irrevocable till 11. It's 10 o'clock. I've got an hour to decide. You say, hey, listen, you know, I'm opening up, letting you both know and saying, what would you like to go with? What would you like to go with? This person's now at 1.43. This person's now at 1.44. No, not going any higher. So 144, okay, accepted. Okay, so that could happen, right? And the seller can make that decision. And I want to bring it up not to say to do it. I want to bring it up because it may be something that comes up and the seller says, hey, why don't we open up the process? Most likely those offers will come with a clause that says, by the way, if you tell anybody the details of my offer, I'm out. And they have the right to do that. Okay, so that's another thing that can come up from this. A lot of different things can come up in the offer scenarios. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is just on the buy side. Okay, if you're in this scenario, I love to, you know, this is the other thing I really love to make sure everybody's aware of, is the best way to represent a buyer to make sure they get the highest and best price and that you don't lose the buyer because they lost out on the offer. Okay, so we went through the listing process. You're down to two offers. We didn't open it up. 2 offers in the end, and you go back to your seller. And this could be done at any time that you're putting in your best offer, but you're going to go back to your buyer. You're representing your buyer's interest, and you're saying, Mr. Buyer, I understand 1.4 is your best price. I get that. I just want to make sure that there's no reason that you're going to be upset with me tomorrow that you would have paid more, right? What if it goes for 1.42? Are you going to be upset with me? No, I'm not going to be upset. What about 141? Well, yeah, I'd be upset of losing it over $1,000 or 10,000. So, yeah. And I said, well, okay, so why don't we go to the 141? Yeah, you're right. I would be upset. So you got an extra, let's say, what did they say? 1.4. So let's say an extra 10,000, right? So let's say, you did get that extra 10,000 from them. 10,000 and let's say it's, 10,500, 10,600. You really need to paint a picture to the buyer just to say, you're not going to be upset with me. It goes for an extra $500. Well, yeah, I'm going to be upset. Okay, well, let's put an extra $500, right? You're not going to be accepted. It goes for an extra $1,000. You need to ask that question. And as soon as they say, okay, we need to cut the line somewhere. And I said, okay, I need to put you through that scenario, because that's what could happen. And I want to make sure that if the seller is going to make a decision on this round, the first round even, that you had every opportunity and I didn't upset you because you would have paid more. That's going to protect you. It is also going to paint the picture for the buyer on how this situation could go. And you'll always, if you don't do this, you'll always have buyers come back and say, I would have done that. Why didn't you ask me? You need to ask them. Okay, so the number one question to ask, there's two questions. One question is, will you be upset if it goes for 500, 10,000, whatever more, right? Depending on the price. So the second question is, now that you've come up with the $1,410,500, we write it down. That's our offer. You're happy with that? Yes, I'm happy with that. Last question. Are you going to be upset with me tomorrow that I pushed it too much? I didn't mean to push you. I just needed to make sure that you definitely put your best foot forward and that, you're happy. So no, I'm not going to be upset with you tomorrow. You're covered now. The two questions you need to ask: is this the best? And will you be upset with me tomorrow if you think I pushed it too far and you overpaid? And then as soon as they say that, they say, no, we're good. Thank you very much. And you say, by the way, you get this house. You've set the new, price in the area. The next one, if it's an upwards market, is technically going to go higher. So now what you've done is I know you paid a lot for this house, but I'm super glad you got it. And if you get it, because you put your best foot forward, and don't worry, it's not a situation of overprice or overpaying for the property. It's just obviously the conditions of the market. You should be super happy. Obviously, tomorrow you may have buyer's remorse. Every buyer does, but know that you paid a great price. 10 years from now, when this is a much higher price, you're never gonna look back and go, oh my goodness, I paid the extra 10,500 whatever dollars, right? So just make them feel comfortable with the fact that they did put their best foot forward, what market value is, and that they now have set the new market value for the area, if that happens to be the case. But to make them feel comfortable with the fact that, yeah, next one, somebody's going to pay a lot more. So good for you for getting in, right? Okay, everyone. So that is listing a property in a seller's market. I hope that helped. And I hope it helped on the buy side too. So when you paint that picture on the sell side, obviously it shows you different things that you can do: bully offers, questions to ask your buyers, and presenting on behalf of the buyer as well. Happy selling. Good luck out in this type of marketplace.